She sold happiness in glass jars. The poster read, "Happiness, sold in glass jars. Call today." I was walking home from a long, exhausting day of work when I caught a glimpse of it stapled on an old telephone pole. I took a picture thinking it was amusing, but I got caught up with chores and forgot about it. Dinner, dishes, laundry, packing a snack for our daughter, putting her to bed, then putting her toys away. Every night, the exact same routine. The next day, I awoke sleeping back to back with my wife. I quietly got ready and headed out the door. At work, they were basically paying me to stare at a computer for 9 hours and input a few numbers. I finished my work quickly, so I decided to head out early, in hope that it was a Friday. On my walk back, I was thinking about what my life had become. I did this often. I always dreamed of traveling when I was younger. I wanted to drive across the country or solo backpack across Europe. Then I met Kelsey. Don't get me wrong, I loved her. We just don't have that spark anymore. When you meet someone, some of your personal life plans have to be put on hold. Then that relationship turns to marriage, then you have a baby, then you have to get a better paying job and work more hours. I'm not trying to throw a pity party for myself. I'm just saying I wasn't exactly content with where I was in my life. I wouldn't have referred to myself as a happy person. As I walked by the same poster again, I don't know why, but I decided to call the number. I figured it would be some joke. Maybe someone just picks up and says, "I love you," and hangs up. It only rang once before a woman picked up. "Hello?" she said calmly. When I asked about the ad, she said, "The jar," like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I asked what exactly she was selling. She said, "I just told you, it's happiness. In a glass jar, happiness keeps best in glass jars. They're more durable than a plastic bag." We decided to meet at a Starbucks parking lot. I was 99% sure she was going to sell me drugs. Maybe heroin would be in the jar. I thought, what if she's a cop? Am I going to be arrested? I texted her I was there. She said, "Be there in a sec." I saw a silver Camry pull in. She opened the door and stood on the pavement, looking around until her eyes met mine. She was young, maybe mid-20s, with curly golden hair. Her skin was pale and contrasted with her all-black outfit. I thought she looked like Glinda the Good Witch wearing the Wicked Witch's clothes. She handed me a very small glass mason jar, no more than 2 inches tall. Inside of it was a light. Not a light bulb, just light. It glowed even in the mid-afternoon daylight. It looked like a tiny sun, or a tiny universe existing in this little crystal-walled home. I was admiring it with no attempt to hide the awe on my face. "Pretty rad, isn't it?" she asked. What is it?" I stammered. She said, "You've asked that 3 times. It is happiness. Happiness in a glass jar." "What do I do with it?" I asked. "Keep it," she said simply. "If you have any problems, shoot me a text." I asked how much it was. "Don't worry, man," she said with a smile. "You'll pay." She closed her door and drove off. What the hell had just happened? I looked down at the jar again. Its radiance was mesmerizing. I put it in my pocket and could see its glow slightly through my pants. I began to walk home. What was just a sunny day quickly changed into a rainy one. It wasn't forecasted to rain. I jogged home, trying not to get too drenched. I finally found shelter once I made it to my apartment. I was soaked, but the jar in my pocket was perfectly dry. I took it out and set it on the counter. The glow filled the dim kitchen. That night, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. A warmth in my chest. I smiled, looking at the jar on the nightstand. I fell asleep easier than I had in months. Over the next few days, things changed. I laughed at my daughter's jokes. I held my wife's hand. The jar sat on the counter, and everything felt possible. I felt happy. Truly happy. But after a week, the light started to dim. It flickered. The warmth faded. I stared at the jar, panic rising. I didn't want to go back. I couldn't go back to who I was before. I texted the woman. She replied, "The happiness is running out. You need to refill it. But to refill it, you have to give something up, something you love. Are you willing to pay the price?"